This video contains spoilers for all three of these movies, so you were warned. Okay, let's just get into it. Okay, it's 1999, and a man called Michael Crichton made a book called Jurassic Park, about a Jurassic-themed park, only this time, the dinosaurs are actually real. The reviews on this book were absolutely stellar, with the New York Times calling it Michael Crichton's best novel to date, and they're not wrong. But just like every other novel that exists, there had to be a freaking adaptation of it, because why not? And it was only a matter of time before a studio claimed the rights for it. And that guy was none other than Steven Spielberg himself, which, surprisingly, he was an actual fan of. He has been a long-time dinosaur fan since he was, a little kid, and he was very excited to make a movie about dinosaurs. And this is where it all began. From mega blockbuster hit to mega blockbuster hit to mega...
You get the idea at this point.
This is the story of the biggest blockbuster franchise ever to blockbuster summer. I really hate saying that.
Welcome to Jurassic Park, yeah!
In the meantime, Michael Crichton was very busy on finding a director. He asked Tim Burton, John Doe, Richard Donner, but they all said no. So he picked the only director who was actually capable of directing a film like this. And that guy was Steven Spielberg. And so Universal acquired the rights to the book. And though James Cameron really wanted to do the film, he was already too late for that. And a few weeks after that, storyboard sketches were already in development since Spielberg wanted to hire a designer as soon as possible. And so he chose Rick Carter. And about 2 weeks before filming, many meetings were held on which scene would be best for the film, until it was finally decided that Jurassic Park needed more development time in order to, the freaking effects. And then art development went on an 8-month hiatus because the film Death Becomes Her. Anyways, after completing his film Hook, Spielberg wanted Schindler's List to be his next film, which did become his next film actually. But he had to finish this film first, so that's what he did. And so set designs were finally finalized So writing began in 1992 and created the island where it would take place in, called Isla Nublar. There were some rewrites in the book somewhere, but who cares? They wanted Kurt Russell and Richard Buzz in the film, but they were too expensive. Harrison Ford and Tim Robertson were offered the roles, but they turned that down. So Sam Neill and Luna Dern were cast in the film. There were other actors, but they turned that down too. And so the casting director thought Jeff Goldblum was the right choice to play Malcolm. And he was not wrong. Filming mostly took place in Hawaii, but it took place in other places too, like
What the frick?
And most of it was just filmed in California, in the Universal Studio lot, on sound stages, and the scene where the T-Rex breaks out was in a Warner Brothers soundstage. Okay, so most of the dinosaurs were supposed to be stop motion, but it got replaced with all computer-generated effects and animatronics, which looked 10 times better than this. With the help of George Lucas's company, Industrial Light and Magic, Dennis Mueller did the CGI effects. And music was done by the legendary John Williams, who is responsible for creating the greatest theme in anything ever.
Oh, God!
Universal spent $65 million on the marketing, and hired John Alvin to do the poster, where he created this iconic poster.
With the symbol of the T-Rex skeleton on it, and with the words Jurassic Park, people instantly got excited. And so a teaser trailer was released in December of 1992, where it showed a bunch of miner workers discovering a prehistoric mosquito inside of Ember. I'll let the narration do the rest.
The first discovery was made in the spring of 1990. From a mine in South America came a piece of amber containing the fossilized remains of a prehistoric mosquito, one of many that had fed upon the blood of dinosaurs. From the DNA in that blood, science was able to recreate those giants, and for the first time, man and dinosaur shared the earth. It happened at a place called Jurassic Park. This summer, director Steven Spielberg will take you there.
If you didn't get it, I'll explain it. Instead of showing an actual dinosaur or anything, it instead focuses on the mosquito, where thanks to science, they managed to took the dinosaur blood from the mosquito and replicate the dinosaur blood, recreating their very own dinosaurs and bringing them back from extinction. And thanks to the teaser, it got a ton of speculation on what it might bring. What dinosaurs would we actually see? Or will we see the ginormous T-Rex? I guess we'll have to find out next year. Dang it! And so the marketing push continued, where a second trailer was released in theaters. This trailer showed us our first look at the park and the characters, and only sneak glimpses at the dinosaurs, keeping it a secret surprise, with the tagline, "An adventure 65 million years in the making," and with a new fully released poster. Jurassic Park quickly became the word of mouth to everyone, with it appearing in magazines and giving us a behind-the-scenes look into production, with McDonald's even marketing the movie with their new dino-sized meal, and with Hasbro creating the toy line for it, even several video games released by Sega for some reason. People speculate this was going to be big. Hey man, you want to see the new Jurassic Park movie? Yeah man, I want to go see it so bad. It looks so cool. Oh man, I love dinosaurs. I think dinosaurs look stupid. And so a second trailer was released after that, which hyped up people even more, speculating what are they hiding from? What the heck are they doing in the kitchen? And of course, which dinosaurs are we going to see? And those questions were finally answered on June 11th, the full premiere of Jurassic Park.
The film is about when a group of paleontologists are chosen for a tour of a new theme park attraction with real living dinosaurs owned by this guy. Things quickly go south when a ginormous storm blacks out the power and unleashes a bunch of dinosaurs from the park. So they must have escaped the park unless they want to live. You know what? This film's actually pretty good. The characters in this film are very interesting to me, with Jeff Goldblum infinitely taking the show, and with Alan finally getting along with children and trying to save them from the dinosaurs. I love it. Iconic scenes in the film, like when they first see their first dinosaur and when the Tyrannosaurus escapes, might be one of the coolest scenes in anything ever. The CGI in this film is absolutely spectacular, and that iconic fallen banner scene will forever be in our memories. And so after the film's release, the first reviews came in and they were absolutely stellar, with some even praising the CGI, though there were some mixed feelings that this film was way too violent for children. Of course, they'd never seen the book before. But the opening weekend, though, was absolutely phenomenal,
It grossed $3.1 million on Thursday and $50.1 million on its first weekend, setting new records since Batman Returns. It grossed a record of $81 million, and it finally managed to reach $10 million in just 9 days, and concluding its run with $914 million at the box office, remaining one of the highest grossing films of the 90s. Until you know. And thanks to the film's massive success, it quickly became the word of mouth to everyone about it, and it's now regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, and it's now considered one of, if not the greatest blockbuster of all time. Now as for the sequel though, alright, it's Oscar night at Hollywood, and Jurassic Park just won 3 awards, winning Best Sound Effects Editing, Best Sound, and of course, Best Visual Effects. Because of course it did. And after the blockbuster success of the first one, a sequel was in discussion after its release, with possible discussion on what's going to be next in the sequel. But Steven Spielberg did say he wanted to step away from making the sequel, since he wanted to take a little break after that nightmare of a production. Cut to 1995, and Crichton is nearly finished with the sequel, with Spielberg signing on to produce the sequel this time. And so in mid-1995, the book was finally published, titled The Lost World. Spielberg was very busy with the screenplay that time, and with Joe Johnston asking to direct a possible third sequel, if that actually happens. And so storyboarding began in June 1995. And so as the year continued, Spielberg would continue brainstorming throughout the production, with pre-production beginning in January 1996. David Cope returned to write the story again, with again a few novel changes there and there, but who cares. And so Jeff Goldblum returned to play Malcolm again, along with Julianne Moore. The Lost World had a budget of $73 million, filming in the Redwood State Park and Fern Crown. They couldn't film in San Diego though because it was way too far away from Los Angeles, so they just had to film in an ordinary soundstage. ILM did return to do the CGI again, including Stan Winston, who did the animatronics last movie, and of course John Winston returning to do the soundtrack again. Because why not? Universal had a budget of $250 million for the marketing, which culminated into this teaser trailer that played in December 13th. That's right, with quick glimpses of the T-Rex, with this teaser poster releasing after the teaser with the tagline, "Something has survived." I don't know what that means, but I feel like I don't wanna. Then on January 26, a TV spot was played during the Super Bowl, where we got our first look at Malcolm and the dinos, answering the only question, what do the T-Rexes want? And this is where the marketing push began. From cereal boxes to mac and cheese to Burger King promoting the film, and with a whole bunch of TV spots. This movie was going to be 10 times bigger than the last one, until the film was finally released on Memorial Day, where the entire movie of The Lost World came out. Taking place 4 years after the original, and IGN is on the verge of bankruptcy after the park incident. And in order to save the company, a new owner, Peter Lulo, is tasked to capture the dinosaurs and bring them to a new park in San Diego. This film is alright. It's not as good as the original, but it still is fun to watch. The new characters aren't my favorite, plus they only last about like 5 seconds. But Malcolm is still in there, so he's the best character in the movie. Plus the San Diego scene is out of this world. Like, have you ever seen a Tyrannosaurus Rex rampage for a freaking city? No, you haven't. The cliff scene is cool as well. It looks like a freaking Mission Impossible stunt. It's 10 times darker than the original, and I can honestly live with it. It's not good, it's not perfect, but it is enjoyable. Critics, on the other hand, weren't as positive. It received mixed reception with the first release, with critics praising the CGI and dino action, but criticism over the clanky screenplay and lack of character development, with even Spielberg saying he was kinda disappointed with the final project. This dude is dissing his own movie that he created. Borderline embarrassing. It had a better opening weekend though.
It made $72.1 million on its first weekend and $92.7 million on Memorial Day, and already made $10 million on its first 6 days, and made $229 million in the US and $389 domestically, and ending its run with only $618 million.
And despite becoming a massive success and becoming the second highest grossing film, it still wasn't enough to recoup the original. The film has since been reviewed more positively and has since generated a cult following. And now, here comes the third one. After the Lost World's release, Universal announced in June that the third film was already in pre-production, with Steven Spielberg serving as the producer this time, and with Craig Rosen being the writer. And so Joe Johnston was announced to be the director of the third film in August, with Spielberg even giving him creative freedom. After being absent from the second film, Sam Neill was returning for the third film, and with a new cast member, William Macy. Dern also announced he would return to the series, along with Taron Leon. They returned to Hawaii to film the sequel, and half of it was shot in California, but then we realized that the draft was never finished in the first place. How the heck did they make the film without a draft? Industrial Light and Magic returned to do the CGI again, with Stan Winston also returning to do the animatronics. So they decided to bring in a new dinosaur, which was the Spinosaurus. And of course, John Williams returned. And so, a teaser trailer was released in September 2000 online. And so a teaser poster was released where instead of a Tyrannosaurus Rex this time, it's a Spinosaurus. Speculating, are we getting the Spinosaurus? And so a month later, our first images were released when we got our first look at the Spinosaurus and the return of Alan Grant and the new cast. The first film footage was aired during the last season of Survivor. Let's take a look at it, shall we?
Survivor, sponsored by The Joy of Pepsi and the 2001 Aztec from Pontiac, now offering VersaTrack all-wheel drive.
It could almost be paradise. My God, I'd forgotten.
They can talk to each other.
To a degree we never imagined. On July 18th, you probably won't get off this island alive. It's not just a walk in the park.
They set a trap. They actually set a trap.
After that, the official website was released at the end of June, with Coca-Cola promoting the film.
No fast food promotions this time.
Even a viral ARG that was set in the universe called Eastland Travels. The film was released on July 18th, the third film in the trilogy. Taking place after the Lost World, Eastland Shorner is now restricted from outside travelers, and when Dr. Alan Grant is tricked into helping a divorced couple find their son on the island, things go what you expect in these movies. This film is not great. Don't get me wrong, the Spinosaurus is pretty cool, but the rest of the film is just clanky humor. The new characters are stupid, and plus they don't last long either. And the T-Rex is barely in the film, plus it gets killed off like few seconds later. So what's even the point anymore? The reviews on this movie were even worse than The Lost World, with many considering it the weakest in the trilogy, due to its terrible plot and underdeveloped characters. The film did, however, make $19 million on its opening day and $50 million on its opening weekend, and made $18 million 5 days later, $181 million in the US, and ending its run with $368 million. And despite becoming the 8th highest grossing film of 2001, it was the lowest grossing film of the series. There were plans to make a 4th film, but that was quickly cancelled for obvious reasons. Cut to 2013, and there hasn't been a new Jurassic Park movie since 3. The original was re-released in theaters in 3D, which helped it gross $1 billion. But now you just feel like the franchise is over since 3 came out. Oh hey look, they're making a 4th film. Wait, what?